A new football season means it's time for a new football card tradition. Happy hobby, I'm David Gunnison. If you're a sports card collector and you're working with a limited budget, that's what we do here. That's what we talk about on my podcast, the Happy Hobby Sports Card Podcast, on the Happy Hobby Sports Card newsletter at davidgonnis.com. We're all about improving our sports cards collection with limited monies. We don't all have a bajillion dollars to play with. I certainly don't. So I need to improve my collection a little step at a time, and that's what we talk about here. Talk about having fun doing it too. Today, because it's a new football season, I wanted to start off this new tradition of going through my football card collection. My best cards. What are my best cards in my collection? So I have a couple dozen here we're going to go through. We'll talk about it for a little bit. Look, these aren't bajillion dollar cards like I already mentioned, but they bring me enjoyment. And so I want you to have some enjoyment as well with your cards, even though some of them might be PSA 4s, right? Some beat up cards. That's okay. They're still awesome cards. So while we'll be sharing these in order of value, according to Card Ladder, still some of my favorite cards we're not going to be showing because they're lower valued and people aren't as interested in those. So like an SGC 8.5 Tom Brady from the Bucks years, people don't care about. I think it's pretty cool, but people don't care about. I get it. So let's get into it. Let's start looking through my sports card collection in 2024. All right, so let's start going through these. First, we're going to go with the Randy Moss rookie card, PSA 9. I actually have a few cards that are around this value, and I was like, the Randy Moss one is just so cool. That design is one of my all-time favorites with the Peyton Manning one, which I don't have the Peyton Manning one. Then we got the 1999 Bowman's Best Kurt Warner card. You're going to see a lot of quarterbacks. Let me tell you that right now. A lot of quarterbacks coming through here pretty soon because that's what football is all about. Speaking of quarterbacks, now this is one that I'm trying to get upgraded at some point. You see it's got the qualifier there, the stain. It's got a gum stain on the back on this area here. So you can see a discolor right there. So I'm actually trying to get this upgraded. Try to get like a PSA 8 for this card. I'm really trying to pull it. I love opening up 84 Topps packs because they're so much fun. And I'm trying to pull that card. There's so many good cards in those 84 Topps packs available. So I'm trying to get one. All right, we've got 1989 Score Barry Sanders. This is the famous one. Now, I like the other one better, but that one's just a little more popular. This one is. So then we move on to Drew Brees. This is one of my newerly graded ones that I got back from PSA. So that's a fun one to have. A good modern football player. Now we go back into like not really modern, kind of a few years ago. 1978 Topps, Tony Dorsett. Dorsett was a big deal as a kid because the Cowboys were a big deal. And so that pretty much made Dorsett the big deal because that was their main guy. The Gronk. Now, Gronk's rookie card, I said the Gronk. The Gronk rookie card, this Topps card, has really climbed in value. It's almost doubled in value in the past, I want to say 2 or 3 years. So I'm happy with that. That's a cool one. It's a cool pose. And I love this design. I don't know why I love 2010's design so much, but I really do like that look. Now we're going back into the 70s with Franco Harris with the old PSA label without the, the lighthouse logo right there, the hologram. But this is a nice looking card. And Franco Harris died recently, but he and Tony Dorsett, we'll put those side by side. Because that was the deal. Those were like the duo to get, right? Hey, Jerry Rice. Now here's an interesting story. I had a Beckett 7.5, a BGS 7.5 Jerry Rice. And I can't stand Beckett slabs, but I had one. I bought it in like 2013, 2012 maybe. And I I had sent this into PSA to get graded, and I wasn't really good with the grading yet. Which card was better than which and all that good stuff. So I sent this one in to get graded. While it was getting graded, I couldn't stand having that Beckett one, and I knew I was getting this back 2 years later. I was getting this back, and so I was like, well, I'll probably get at least a 7 or an 8 on that PSA one. No. So I sold the Beckett one while this was getting graded, and this one came back a 5. I need to get a new one. I need to upgrade that guy. But this was, no, I bought this one also in 2012, I think. Oh, no. I think I've had this one as a kid. Nobody cares. 1970 Joe Namath. Joe Willie. This is my, I had another Joe Namath graded card, but I think I sold it. I think it was like a 72 maybe, or no, 71 I think. But I love that card. It's got some damage to it. I mean, it's got a crease, I think, along the bottom here. Let's see. That corner right there. That corner is what does it. Oh, that corner right there too. Okay, there's a few spots. There's a reason why it's a 3. But I love that look. I love that card. That design's one of my favorites. 1959 Topps or SGC 5 Bart Starr. I love the coloring on the 1959 set. That to me is one of the all-time coolest. Now I get that there's no background and people are like, oh, they should have like a field or something. But look at 1957 Topps baseball. Those are so ugly. Now that's 1959. I get it, but I'm saying when they started doing the color photographs on the front of cards, they weren't very pretty. So I like that they put some color behind it and made it nicer. Speaking of nicer, look at this. Joe Montana 1981 Topps. There's another card. I expect someday I'm going to upgrade this one. Probably a 7. I'll probably try to get at some point on this. But I love the PSA 5 for now. I'm happy with it. It's got the older label. Still has the PSA logo, but just not the lighthouse. Let's see. All right. Now we're in a super duper modern 2020 Panini Donruss Optic. Jordan Love. This has grown in value, of course, in the past couple of years. Well, now that your buddy Aaron Rodgers has moved on, this one's my latest edition. 1984 Topps USFL Steve Young rookie card. This is I have a Brian Sipe USFL card, I think, also. But this is my only good one. How's that? Topps USFL. Steve Young, man. He's the man. Played for the Bucks, so he's got to be good, right? Hey, speaking of good, 1972 Topps Roger Staubach. Love this guy. He's pretty awesome. As a kid, I was living in New York. For some reason, I grew up a Cowboys fan because when I was a little kid, that's who was huge, and that's the jerseys and stuff that I would tell my dad, hey, I want that jersey, So that makes sense. And if you talk Roger Staubach, you got to talk Terry Bradshaw, his nemesis with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was one of my all-time favorite cards also, and I got this maybe 2-3 years ago. You can see it's not great centering. It's got the edges are a little rough. SGC 4. There's a reason for that, because this card's very valuable and very difficult to get in high condition. So I am very happy with the SGC 4. Probably not one I'll be trying to upgrade, just because it's expensive. It's expensive, and it's an awesome card. Hey, awesome card. 1958 Topps John Unitas. It's crazy that you can get a Johnny Unitas card this cheap from, I think this was his second year card. Listen, folks, for those of you wanting to upgrade your collection on a limited budget, you can go back and buy vintage Topps very cheap. Now, maybe you don't get Terry Bradshaw just because of the design that makes it tougher to get in super great condition. But you can get a Johnny Unitas as a PSA 6 at a really good price these days. Speaking of pretty awesome, how about Jimmy Brown? This is one I just recently upgraded. I did a vertical video of this recently. That was this card that I had. 1962 Topps with the qualifier making it, instead of PSA 3, drops it. So I upgraded it, bought this one, and my thoughts are I might sell this, and then I was like, maybe I'll do a giveaway for this. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. But for this one, I love it. It's a beautiful card. 1959. Remember I was talking about the design? This one just happens to have a blue design, so it's not quite as crazy looking as the pink. But goodness, they're so beautiful. Such beautiful cards. And let's see, move on now. If you talk Jimmy Brown, you got to talk about sweetness. Walter Payton, his rookie card. Again, the PSA 4. Tough to get it in high condition because of money. Makes sense, right? They're expensive. They're tough to get super high. Now, of course, I paid for this one, but it's 1959, man. How is this so... Everybody wants... I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I can't explain. John Elway, 1984. Now, this was a recent... I got this graded maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. PSA 9 it came back. I nearly fell out my stool. I love this one. Great card. Gorgeous card. I bought this on ComC.com. I bought that raw card. I want to say $40 on ComC. You can get good cards. Oh, you know what? Before we get to the final card, let's look at these guys. See if I can get this in the picture. I already framed these, but here we have the Manning family. So let's go from left to right. Eli Manning came back PSA 10, one of my newer collection editions. The autographed Archie Manning, Topps 1972 Topps rookie card, and then finally the PSA 10 Peyton Manning Bowman Chrome card. So those are three of my favorites, obviously, but up there in my collection. And then finally we move on to TB12 Tom Brady 2000 Upper Deck Tom Brady. This is my most valuable football card. It's not a 10. It's just a 9. It's an older label. It's still pretty amazing. It's Upper Deck. I love it. He looks like he was playing with the Bucks back then, right? That's partly why I love it. So that's my collection there. I've got a bunch more that I didn't really share. Maybe I'll do that in another video at some point if y'all are interested in that. But let me know what you think. Like I said, there's no $6,000 cards or numbered to 5, autographed through super ultra hyper whatever. These are just fun cards. These are great cards from my childhood, great cards I've picked up through the years. So let me know what you think in the comments. Whatever you do, have a happy hobby.